Good morning, friends. I feel immense pleasure to be here for the course Project-Based Learning. Today my topic is step-by-step guide for research. As you know, I am Dr. Dwivedhi, professor from the Department of Aeronautical Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad, India. So, as of now, I have covered 7 lectures on the project-based learning. In that, I have discussed about the methods and how the project-based learning has to be performed. Also, I have given some topics in my previous lecture that how the student can perform project-based learning. It should not be as per your branch. It should be the interest of the individual student. Also, it should be useful for the community, for the society, for the country, or for your area. So, we should understand that what type of problem we are facing, students should understand first. So, for that, they should also visit to the local places where this type of problems are existing. In my previous class, I have given one example of how you can make the river or ponds free of polythenes. Because in India especially, everywhere you see huge amount of polythene waste is there, and these are going to the rivers, water stream, and this going and this eating by the fish and other aquatic animal. Also, these are lying on the ground, and this cows and buffaloes, goats, they are also eating that thing, and they are dying by the poisonous effect of this polythene. And as well as some eatable items are there, and after sometimes these eatable items or some food items, they becomes poisonous. So we should try to avoid such type of thing, that food should not be given at all at the polythene, but it is still existing. All these apps, they are giving in polythene only, or some poly bags where the food is packed, and this is thrown because all are not eaten. Some part is left, and people are just throwing here and there. So, like this problem, we have to find out. This is one issue. We can also make some issues like old age person, how we can give them help, how they can use the technology which is available. So our students can play a very, very vital role in this type of activities. They can visit to the elderly people's home, and they can teach them, they can guide them how to do this type of work, and how they can ask the help from the people. They all have the smart mobiles, and they can work. They can get the food item, they can get the medicine, they can ask the help to the neighbors by the help of the mobiles. So like this, we should also take for the animal. I have seen one accident in which one leg of one dog was crashed, and that whole life that dog was just going with 3 legs only. The 4th leg was not touching on the ground. So can we make something on that leg which is broken, or it is not, the half is available? We can make some device in which we can fit it some rubberized leg, or that can be useful for that animal. The life of that animal can be better. So like this can we do. Also, if you see that the snack, we feel it is very dangerous However, it is very useful. The snake, only few snakes are poisonous. 99% snakes are not poisonous. But we are afraid of all and we kill them as and when we find somewhere. We also get somewhere on the road, so many snakes are always found dying. So we can also see that if you see in India, nearly 18,000 people are dying per year by the snake bite. So this, we can do some research on this and we can set up some anti-bite treatment very near to each and every village. We have some people we can appoint and we can give the training from each and every, and some injections, that venom injections, we can put them if immediately people can be survived. Especially in India, we have the villages where people put their firewoods and some cow dung that for burning and all, and they are stored for a long time, especially before the rain. It is put inside the home in villages, and this will be used for burning their stove for cooking the food. So especially the ladies go and they just take out that old wood and this thing, and there some snakes are there and they are biting. I have seen physically in my village these things. So 4 or 5 people I have seen, they have died by the same activities. So can we make some arrangement that this type of things should not happen? And if the snake is bite to someone, whether we can prevent from dying. So like this, we should try to develop such type of activities, such type of methods where we can train the villagers for this type of activities, for the farming, for the use of electricity, how they can make a better India, better village. So like this activity we have to plan for our engineering students. In today's, I am going for the step-by-step guide for the research. In this, I have these are the topics which I am going to cover today. First one is Saunders' onion approach, research philosophy, ontology, research approach, and research strategy. This I am going to take today, and this first one is the Saunders' onion approach. He has given some approach and some very nice diagram by which we can go ahead and we can do some research by following these steps which are given by the Saunders' onion approach. And we will also go to understand some research philosophy, what type of philosophies are used for the research. We can go for ontology and research approaches and research strategies. So this is the first one, which is step-by-step guide for the research, and this is given by the Saunders' onion approach. So this we can see here at the last stage. We have here layer 1, then we have the layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, and last is here layer 6. So if you see in the layer 1, we have the philosophical stances. Here we can divide into 3 groups, that is epistemology, then ontology, and axiology. These are the 3 things. And then in this, if you see the first layer, we have the positivism, then realism, interpretivism, objectivism, constructivism, and pragmatism. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these steps I am going to discuss one by one. And it may not be possible in the one. So I have divided this thing into 2 lectures. For first 3 I am going to discuss today. And after next 3 I am going to discuss in my next lecture. So accordingly we have to go ahead. So research philosophy, Saunders' research onion. So it is like onion. Onion has got different layers. So he has divided onion into 6 layers, and all 6 layers, how they are divided, I am going to explain in this lecture. The first and the topmost layer of the research onion has to do with a set of beliefs related to the nature of reality being investigated, and is often studied in the context of epistemology and ontology. So if you see here in this diagram, so here these two things, the first layer, which is epistemology, and the ontology, I am going to discuss here. So what is the epistemology? So this branch of philosophy, so this is the philosophical approach of the research. So this branch of the philosophy is concerned with the question of what is. So in this we have to see, this is the answer for this. What is or should be regarded as acceptable knowledge in a discipline, and how we can obtain it. So if in this type of philosophy, first we have to ask the question, that is, what is this and how it should be regarded as acceptable knowledge. It should be acceptable knowledge in a discipline, and how we can obtain that knowledge. So this is the epistemology. It basically answers the questions beginning with how and what. So this will answer how and what perceptions, sensations, intuitions, reason, and even faith are considered as a mean to knowledge as per epistemology. So in this, perception also, sensation also, intuition also, reason, and even faith, these all things are also part of the knowledge, and this type of thing is discussed in epistemology, and this epistemology will give the answer how these things are happening and what is the problem. And first it will start with the what and how it should be and how we can obtain. So these questions are addressed in the epistemology, and in this, the perception, the sensation, the intuition, the reason, and even faith, these things are considered in this issue. In order to understand better, let us look at positivism, critical realism, and interpretivism, the three philosophical stances that are often linked to the epistemology. So in this, we have the positivism, then realism, and the interpretivism. These three philosophical stances which we are going to discuss in the next slide. So in this epistemology, we have the positivism. By the word you can see that it is positiveness, means it is happening. It is yes, it can happen. So positivism is the first thing. This is based on the idea that scientific knowledge is the true knowledge of the world and is characterized by the testing of the hypothesis derived from the existing theory of knowledge. The body of the research generated by this is something that can be replicated by other researchers with same or very similar quantifiable results arising from statistical analysis. So in positivism is what? That it is a scientific knowledge, and the scientific knowledge is the true. And whatever you are able to find that knowledge, it should be based on the testing of the hypothesis, and this hypothesis should be from the theory of the existing knowledge. It should not be just like that. It should be from any theory which, if it is satisfying, it is correct, and if it is not, it is not correct. So in this, the body of the research generated by this is something that can be replicated by the other researchers. It means the person who has done this work, if he or some other persons are doing by the same conditions, same scenario, same variables, so they should get the same result. So that is called the positivism. Next is the realism. Another approach for this epistemology is called the realism. In the realism, questions reliable of the scientific knowledge and maintain that all theories can be revised and more reliable result can be obtained through continual research and application of new method of research. Hence, new research method contribute to the acceptable knowledge in this case. So, in this what happens is the realism means it is a reliability of the scientific knowledge. So, the scientific knowledge it should be reliable and maintains that all theories can be revised and more reliable result can be obtained. So, there may be so many theories. If you see the previously and now people are telling that these theories are not applicable or there is some problem in the previous theory. So, new research it has to be developed. New research method contribute to the acceptable knowledge in this case. Third one is the interpretivism. In this, use of qualitative analysis or quantitative analysis to obtain the results. So, in this, interpretivism is qualitative analysis over the quantitative analysis to obtain the result. These researchers is often seen playing an important role in making sense of and interpreting the collecting data. Therefore, interpretivism incorporates human interest into a research study and recognizes difference between people. So, in this type of research, a qualitative analysis is done comparing to the quantitative analysis, and these research are very important role in making sense and interpreting the collecting data. Suppose you are collecting so many data, in that you have to divide into qualitative and the quantitative and then you do the work. Therefore, the interpretivism incorporates human interest into a research study and recognizes difference between the people. So, in this, if two people are doing the research in the same topic, their idea, their interpretation skills are different and they can reach to some different solutions of the problem and they can do the analysis in this way. So, it is called the interpretivism. Now, the next is ontology. This is the second step of the first layer. This branch of metaphysics is concerned with the study of reality or things that exhibits reality. It answers the question, what is? So, in this also, study of the reality or things that exhibits reality. Means it is only the real cases we have to take. It answers the question, what is? Physical objects, minds, events, properties, values, and abstract entities such as numbers and set could all be said to be presenting the ontology. Ontology means or inventory of the world. In order to get further insight into ontology, let us take a look at objectivism, constructivism, and pragmatism that constitute it. So, like our epistemology, it was having this positivism, realism, and the interpretivism. This ontology has got the objectivism, constructivism, and the pragmatism. These are the components of the ontology, and ontology believes on the reality of it. It should be in the real, but in the previous, it is even your faith, your religious, these all things are in the previous case. In this, you have, okay, in epistemology, if you see perception, sensation, intuition, regions, or even faith, it is. But in this ontology, it is not. It is the real thing which you can see, you can observe. Anything, any inventory, any material object, that is the part of the ontology. So, this Ontology consists of objectivism, constructivism, and pragmatism. These are the three basic elements of the ontology. So in objectivism, this philosophy is derived that human knowledge and values are objective and are determined by the nature of reality. So in this, we see that are objective. These are the objective, and this can be determined by the nature of the reality. It's all the reality which you can see, which you can observe. It is, if it is raining, suppose this raining you all can see. It is for the real and therefore be acknowledged by every living creature. Such reality is depend on the thought of any specific social actor. Rather, it influences them. For example, talk about how a specific law, a real phenomena passed by the government is impacting a group of people. So it is, suppose one law is implemented, and after the implementation of law, you should study the before what was the condition, and after this implementation of the law, after 1 year or 2 years, how these things are happening. If it is raining, how much flood is coming, how much are getting benefit, and how much people are not getting benefit. Some are suffering by the rain also. So this type of research you can undertake, and this type of things are in the real nature which everyone can see and observe. So it is objective, so it is called the objectivism. It is really seen, everyone is affected by that. So we can do this type of research, and this is called the objectivism. Next is the constructivism. So by the word, it is constructive things. So this philosophical stance focuses on how bodies of knowledge come to be and how ideas are constructed by human interaction and the decision. So in this focuses on how body of knowledge come to be and how ideas are constructed by human interaction and the decision. So in this, human interaction and their decisions are important to come to the conclusion. Contrary to what we saw in case of objectivism, constructivism maintains that reality is dependent on or is constructed by a social actor. So in this, a social actor means the person who are involved. They are the people who can maintain this constructivism. For example, a new law, a reality passed by the government may be the outcome of the behavior of a group of people, that is called the social actor, which the law has now impact on. So this law is impacted. So the laws, how much it is affecting, and the law was introduced because the already some social people or some people who are already suffering. So to improve their things or to improve the better law and order, some laws to be enforced so that the people or the group of the people, that is called the social actor, may be benefited. And how much it is benefited, that you can do the research, and this type of research is called the constructivism. Next is the pragmatism. This philosophical standpoint centers on the linking of theories and the practice. So it is a pragmatism in this existing theory and the existing practices has to be, these thoughts should be in this theory and the practice. It asserts that both objectivism and constructivisms are practical and valid ways to approach any research, and they both could be comfortably used to find solution to the problem. So this one and this is the second one, they both could be comfortably used in the practice for the researchers to find the solution to a problem. Here again and again one example is given for the law. But there are so many other examples where we can use this type of things. In engineering, in science, in arts, in literature, everywhere we can use these methods. Now, research approach, Saunders research onion. Just I will talk about this research approaches for this. So here we can divide this another. If you see the next, so in this, if you see, we have discussed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this one layer is completed. Now I am going for the second layer. So this is the second layer here. In this we have the deductive and the inductive. In this layer only 2 items are there, and what is the meaning of this second layer, which I am going to discuss in this next topic. So here if you see, we have 2 zones. This is inductive and another is the deductive research approach. Here we have the information, pattern, tentative, hypothesis, theory. In this we have the theory, hypothesis, observations and confirmation. So first we have to, here in this approach, inductive, we have to first see the theory, then we should make the hypothesis, then we have to do the observation, and then we have to do the confirmation. Here it is in opposite direction. We have to start with information, then the pattern, then we should go for the tentative hypothesis, and then we should link with the theory. So both are in opposite nature and their results are the same, but the way how we have to, the approach is different. So we have here 2 types of approaches for the research, that is the deductive approach and the inductive approach. I am going to discuss one by one in this slide. So here we have, first one is the deductive approach. This approach tends to flow from generic to specific. So in this, you see, here is the information. It is generic information. So we have to start with the generic and reach to the specific. That is the deductive. Any researcher using this would start with theory and move on to research question or hypothesis, which is tested through data collection afterwards. Finding would either confirm or reject the research question or hypothesis. So in this deductive, we are moving from questions or hypothesis which is tested by the collection of the data. Finding would either confirm or reject the research question or the hypothesis. If you talk about the inductive, this type of approach is often used or helpful. There is a little research available on a topic. So in this type of more research is not there. There very less research is there. Unlike deductive approach, a researcher has to move in the opposite direction from research question to observation and description to analysis before finally getting on the theory. So this approach is totally different than the deductive approach. So these 2 approaches we have to understand before we start any research work. Now, the next topic, in the next class I am going to discuss about research strategies. In this we have different types of studies. Here I have discussed the layers 1 and 2, and in the next class I am going to discuss about layer 3, 4, 5 and 6, and this is depend upon this. So here we have this one and this one we have done it. Now in the next, this is the 3, this is the 4, this is the 5 and this is the 6. These layer I am going to discuss in my next lecture, and hope this will be quite good. So here we have any questions you are welcome to ask. My mail is email ydwivedhi@gmail.com. Thank you very much for the joining. Hope this will be useful for you all, and be tuned if any questions, any queries. And also I request that you should do like my channel, subscribe it, and press this like button also, so that, and give some comment if you feel that it is useful for you. Thank you very much for joining this.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.